Hey friends!
I'm Janna.
I'm Evada.
Today we are going to talk about what to do when you are injured.
We've kind of framed it in our top fives. Janna's top five, what to do when you are injured, and my top five is what to do when your teammate gets injured.
I got injured. Vaders has had some injuries, but we're going to talk specifically and throughout the experience that we had when I got injured.
I think it's important that maybe for some people that don't know what happened to you, you just want to share briefly.
I broke my leg. Yeah. I was at the Big O, not last year, the year before, I believe. Last game, we were playing Atlanta. I still haven't watched a video. You can't make me do it. I'm not going to. I came down doing exactly something that I've done a million times, and I broke my ankle. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm going to start with the top 5 things to do when you get injured. Number 1 is be prepared for the road ahead. And what I mean by that is it's going to be a mental struggle. Every day is going to be different, and it's not going to be, it's not going to be going from like hard to like easier. It's going to be like hard, easy, hard, easy, hard, easy. And I think that in like anything in life, if you're prepared for something, it's a little bit better to stomach once it's happening, because you're like, oh yeah, I was expecting to have a hard day today.
Yeah.
So just be prepared for the fact that you're going to lose your mind a little bit. You're being pulled away from something that you love, that you're doing all the time, where all your friends are, and now you're going to have to sit out for a certain amount of time, and it's really, really hard mentally. It's hard physically. It's even harder mentally.
Difficult, yeah. And I think that a part of what helped you right off the get-go, just from it being an observer, was the people that had similar injuries to yours had reached out to you around that time.
Yep.
And I noticed that's something you did after when you saw other people experiencing this similar injury too. It's pretty common.
I was really lucky. Actually, it's really funny because as soon as I broke my leg, I was added to this Facebook group called the GIMP Crew, and it was like all these injured roller derby people, and I was like, oh, and you're feeling pretty crappy when you get hurt, and you don't really want to believe that you're that player that got hurt, and you're like, oh, it's not really happening. You kind of like wake up every day for the first week hoping that it was a dream, but then you look down and there's your broken ankle. Ooh. You're still there. Shit. Dang it. But I was added to this group, and then the first thing that like 17 people write is like, oh my god, no, not Janna. And I was like, leave group. I just need another week or so.
Yeah.
I soon added myself back on, and I realized, okay, so it's a great place to share, but note, if you're in a Facebook group and somebody comes on, do not make a big deal about them being injured. It's not.
They know. They know what happened.
They know.
They know what's going on. You don't need to put it in all caps with exclamation
I know.
marks.
No, it's over. You're like, oh, I'm kind of hoping it's not over. I want to come back. Number 2, be organized. So what I mean by that is that you're not able to control your injury. You are injured. That's, there's nothing you can do about that. What you can do is choose to be organized about the other things that you can do. So you're going to feel a big lack of control in your life. So what I kind of did is I made a plan for myself, what I was going to eat, what I was going to do, and my friends thought I was losing it and super like going nuts, and you're going to give off that impression, and that's okay. But if it's something that you need to do to regain some control in your life, then do that. Fine. Make yourself a plan and stick to the plan. Be prepared, side note, for the plan to change. Sometimes you might wake up and you had these plans, all of a sudden you just want to cry all day. So just be prepared for your plan to change. There's going to be some cry all day kind of days, and that's okay.
So that's like 1 trickling into number 2, being prepared, but also, making a plan. And I do see how that could be effective, that at least though you have no control over the recovery rate, you do see like little check marks of little things that you are doing and accomplishing, whether it's physio or just like not crying as much that day. Yeah. Small goals.
That's awesome. So number 3, I'm going to get a little bit more detailed about being organized, because, you're probably going like, what kind of stuff can you plan? Well, you can plan what you're going to eat. I did a lot of research online as to what helps for my specific injury. It can be different for everybody, but like, sometimes maybe it's just a mental thing, but I read that like red and yellow peppers helped, and like salmon, like fatty fish, and like what kind of vitamins to take. And so I started doing those things. Just have a plan as to what you're going to eat. It kind of feels better to know that you're nourishing your body with the food that you need to feel better. Plan your rehab. In about this much time, again, be loose with it because it's going to change. I should be able to do some other stuff. I had broken my leg, so I planned some workout exercises and around my abs, and I did a lot of crunches because your body still gets stimulated with exercise. So I did some stuff that I could do, so I wasn't completely like not doing anything at all.
Exactly.
That really helped me to keep me going. Number 4 is find the things that you love to do. So this is a hard one because your injury is going to feel so hard.
Outside of derby. So that's what she means by that is that I know a lot of us, when we get involved in the sport, it becomes all encompassing. It is your life, it is your lifestyle, everything you do, the people you hang out with, everything you think about cross training, it's all focused on this sport. So when that kind of gets taken away from you, without you being ready to let it go, it's difficult to kind of search around and decide what or reconnect with those things that you used to do before you knew about roller derby.
Yeah, or all the things that you keep saying you want to do once you're done with roller derby. We all have those things. Come on, guys. Like, yeah. Roller derby takes up 150% of your time. So I had things that I want to do. Learn to play the guitar, play the piano, a lot of music stuff, like be more crafty. I started making denim vests. I started making sock monkeys. You know, it's going to feel like, no, I just want to get back to sport, but you don't want to look back. Once you're back to skating, you're going to be like, dang it, I should have done all those things. So take that time. Reading, you've been wanting to read books. Now's your opportunity. Movies, you can catch up on movies. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can fall in love with again.
You were down to like doing one documentary a day for a while. I know
that.
Yeah,
like 30 docs in 30 days.
Like educating yourself, like just, you know, I thought that was pretty awesome. The things that you were doing to kind of, the sock monkey thing, like I got on that train. I went over, we did crafts.
Yeah. Yeah, just fine. Yeah, there's other stuff that you're going to love. Derby is not going to be in your life forever, by the way. I know. It's a hard thing to think about, but you're going to, you know, like you want to do other stuff.
Yeah.
So you can start on those other things now. There's other stuff that's in your mind that you want to do.
Positive spin, silver lining.
Yeah.
Here's a chance to just kind of reconnect and discover other things that you might want to do later and that you can start doing now.
I was kind of hoping I start playing the guitar, start launching some YouTube videos. People would be like, she's so talented. Oh my God. And then I'd have a record deal and I'd be like, I actually don't want to play roller derby anymore. That didn't happen.
Quit.
Bam, didn't happen. So I'm back to skating. Number 5 and the last one is be patient, okay? Roller derby is not going anywhere. That's what I discovered. It kind of helped me to think about women that get pregnant and they leave for 9 months and then they come back and you're like, what? That's so fast. That really helped me a lot because I thought I was going to leave and then all these new things were going to happen and all my teammates were going to become a bajillion times better and I was going to come back and I was going to suck, and it didn't happen. I came back equally as strong, if not stronger, determined. I'm not saying nobody's going to move forward, but like the sport is not changing so much that when you come back, you're going to be like, oh my God, I guess I can't play on this team anymore. I suck now. It's not going to happen. So yeah, the sport's not going anywhere. Nothing's going to change.
It'll be waiting for you when you're ready to come back.
Yeah.
If you decide you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your top 5 things to do when you're injured. Top 5 things you should do when your teammate and best friend gets injured. So I learned a lot from Kim's experience when she got injured, and it's definitely helped me decide what I would do in the future for other teammates because I didn't necessarily act the way that I wish I would have for her as a friend and as a teammate. And here is why. So my number 1 thing that I suggest everyone do if your friend or teammate gets injured is to show up. And what by that I mean is when Kim got injured, I just immediately was horrified and felt extremely guilty to even be around her with working ankles, able to go to practice and skate and keep on keeping on because it was the beginning basically of our season at that time. And she was in a bed healing and there was nothing she could do about it. And I actually for a while didn't want to show up because I just felt really guilty and scared and bad and awkward about, you know, being a healthy person around her. And that's just not the way you should do it. I think, and obviously talking to Kim about it later on, like, it's just so important to show up, talk about it. The person that's injured isn't going to be upset about you sharing what you did at practice, like how the team's doing. It's stuff that they're going to want to know and they want to stay included in all of that. And so it's way better to show up, talk, and share than to sit at home and feel bad and guilty about it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is following into that is to keep on checking in, because what happens when people get injured generally is there's an outpouring of like, oh my God, I can't believe it, not you, anyone but you, and like your timeline on Facebook fills up and everyone's like, oh my God, and you're getting like messages and emails and packages and envelopes and letters and all that for like 2 weeks, and then, you know, someone else gets injured or something else happens in the world, or there's a really good YouTube video or something goes viral, and then you're
Justin Bieber,
you know,
happens.
Yeah, people get distracted, or you know, they're not as close to you as the people in your regular day-to-day life. So that stuff goes away, and then things can get really quiet really fast. So it's important to keep checking in with your friends, like even if it's just to go for coffee or sending them a text message or asking how their day was, because honestly, the healing process can be really difficult for specific injuries like Kim's, where you're just honestly in a bed, like you can't really do much for the first while, and so any kind of distraction is welcome. So keep on checking in the months following, the weeks following, the days following when your teammate gets injured. Number 3, I would say, kind of follows into what Kim was saying and rediscovering, you know, what things you like to do outside of derby. As a friend, you can reconnect with your teammate on a different level outside of roller derby. So it doesn't always have to be you going and filling them in on strategy and what's going on at practice. It can also be about getting them to teach you how to make a sock monkey, or getting them to show you like a cool recipe they found on the internet, or a movie or a documentary that they watched. So it's about connecting in a different way that way, and I think it's important, and it's good and healthy for you, as someone should be looking into other things outside of derby as well.
Yeah, and on a side note of that is that, you know, reconnect, because as much as your injured friend can say they want to come to practice, that, you know, like I had that intention, I want to be at all the practices, I'm going to stay involved, and then
like sit on the sidelines and watch.
Yeah, and sometimes you just, you know what, you have the best of intentions when you're injured, and then all of a sudden you just don't want to be there. You just don't want to be, it hurts too much to be there sometimes, and that's okay. Some days you're going to just do what you feel like doing as the injured skater, and then on the other side, like, yeah, reconnect, because they can't always commit to coming to practice. Even if they said they would, it hurts. It hurts physically and emotionally. It hurts. It's hard some days. So you go to them.
Exactly. Number 4, being supportive and listening. And what I mean by that is that it's a roller coaster ride for anyone who's going through any type of injury, especially broken bones, torn ligaments, all this sort of thing. It's one day you get good news, the next day it's bad news. You get your, you know, the day you're going to get your cast off is this date, now it's pushed back. Or you get your cast off and now something else is wrong. And so it's a lot of highs and lows, and as a friend and teammate, the best thing that you can do is just be there to listen, to hug, to give high fives, to celebrate, you know, to be there when things are not so great, and just, you know that eventually they're going to come back, and just be supportive in that way, and like of whatever their goal is, support them in that, and remind them of how far they've come, because when you're in that position, you might not see, you know, how much you've healed and how much recovery you have accomplished already. So as a friend and teammate, you can be that mirror and kind of let them know, like, look, this is where you were, this is where you are, and it's going to keep getting better.
Yeah, I like that one.
Number 5, it is kind of following number 4, being a cheerleader. But what I mean by that is actually when your teammate comes back to roller derby. So they've healed, they're back on the bench, they're coming to practice, they're playing in games with you. What I experienced, you know, with my friends and stuff, and even myself when I've been injured and coming back, is you're not always 100% confident in where you were before the injury.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fear that that injury might come back again, or something similar might happen. And it can be really scary to be on roller skates, on the track, and everything's like coming back to you and that sort of thing. And I feel like as a teammate, the best thing you can do is just cheer them on. No matter what they do out there, it's a huge accomplishment, that they're killing it, that they're looking amazing, they're looking strong, because they might not feel that way, and they actually might be skating that way, but they're just not feeling it quite yet. There's still a lot of hesitation there. So be a huge cheerleader, even more so. Sometimes you might be like, oh man, like I really don't need to tell her she's kicking ass. Like she's doing apex jumps, she's got more points than I did last jam, like she's killing it. But mentally they just might not be there yet. So you kind of just have to be a little extra supportive and be an even better cheerleader than normal.
I like
That's
that
number
one.
5. And it's not a bad job. It's not a bad gig. It's
not a bad gig.
It's fun to be nice to people and cheer them on.
Yes. I like that one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
That is fun. So those are our 5 things to do when you're injured.
5 things to do when your friend gets injured.
Nice.
Thanks, guys. I guess that's it, and we'll be back next week or so for another video.
Yeah, and some people have asked us to do a video on your mental game when you're coming back from an injury, and we're going to do that, a whole video on that one.
It's a whole other video.
It's a whole nother video.
Whole other thing.
Ooh, mental game.
We got so much
mental
to
game
talk
in
about.
general.
Yeah,
so,
aside from the injury part.
Yeah, mental game. All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. You're looking here.
This is your Vader, or your cage.
Okay, you should say that again because I was looking at the wall.
That's awesome. Number 3.
Number 3. Well done. Oh,
I wanna...
well done. High five.
Yeah.
Yeah.